Me this morning. Oh, yeah, it's just me this morning. Nad's as unexpectedly doing loose today. I think all of the lockdown and inability to get people into London and what have you is playing havoc with everything at the moment. So, good morning, everyone. Raspberry Mojito Girl, Bethan Williams, Gabrielle, Ellen, Mary Dolling, Janine Amory. Yeah, oh, happy birthday, Judith. You're 54th. Why don't I make a note? Let me just get a pen. I'm going to make a note of your name, and we'll do it when Nads is here, shall we? Was it just Judith? Judith, just Judith. Okay. Well, Judith, we'll know it's you. I'll put happy birthday. There we go. Let's pull you up, sorry. Random Nothingness, good morning. Sarah Perlmutter, Jackie Smith, Natalie Ricks, Mel W, got your card today, brilliant, that's great. Another load are going out today. Excuse me, just put that there. Samantha Hayward, shout out. Welcome to all the family guests, welcome to all subscribers. I hope you enjoyed family guests, I hope you enjoyed Lisa's section in the Sunday show. Dragon Rose, I'm okay, I'm not great, it's Monday morning and all that sort of stuff. Already, there's a lot of things we've got to do today, and I'm already feeling like I'm playing catch up. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you are physically in this high-tech world, you can be doing so many things online, can't you? And it's just like, oh my God. Maisie Kinsella, hello. Patricia Bagley, good morning from the US. Where are you in the US, Patricia? If I have to jump up, it'll be because Tim, my dear postman, is delivering stuff. Anika Ellis, feeling overwhelmed. I didn't feel overwhelmed. I think it's like waves, isn't it? I mean, and if you think that we're liquid, aren't we? We're kind of emotionally liquidy. It's not surprising that we could just go. I mean, I had a full-on mental one yesterday morning. I was in a fabulous mood, and then afterwards I kind of fell asleep on the set. Well, I didn't actually. I got on with editing the Sunday show, but I felt so sort of hyper. Today I feel all right. I've been for a walk, really early walk this morning. Posted a photo of toffs overlooking the Arctic tundra. It's me and my mad hair. I know, absolutely. Nanny Di had her hair trimmed yesterday, well, razored yesterday. I kind of lost the courage of my convictions. I don't know if I want a buzz cut. Do you know what I mean? But I am, Nadia's ordering some proper scissors to have a crack at my hair, because I'm sick of it. I hate these bits at the side and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's kind of, I don't know. It's Monday morning. No, it's Monday morning, and Mondays. I think Monday mornings are emblazoned upon our souls, aren't they? I mean, regardless of what your circumstances, it's always a Monday morning on a Monday morning, isn't it? You can't make Monday morning not be Monday morning, can you? I mean, you could try, but it's usually on Tuesday evening. Sitting in cold electric run out. Susie girl, oh my God, that's awful. Well, who's your provider? You should be able to get some kind of emergency. 24-hour service, surely, from whoever supplies you. MeTube, can schools go back safely? Yes, you have rightly identified, MeTube, that I've put in the title. Should schools go back sooner? I'm not suggesting they should or shouldn't, but it's a hugely, it's an increasingly sort of strident row that's developing with parents suddenly faced with the possibility that schools might not be going back, certainly not this not after half term, but not going back until after Easter. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I think there are a number of things here. You know, you're trying to keep so many people, different categories of society, happy at the same time. It's like LED says. I just listened to someone on the way back from the park talking to Nick Ferrari, and you know, sometimes I don't agree with Nick Ferrari politically, but you know, sometimes he's good at pushing things back. But he was being a bit stupid in this one interview chat. It's like the guy said, he kept saying lockdowns have to stop, numbers have come down, and it's like this guy phoned up and said the reason people keep sort of saying like it's a self-evident truth. We've passed the peak of the crisis with the NHS, but that's because of a lockdown. This seems to be the detail that when people are clamouring, it's like teachers don't want to not teach. The government don't want to not send kids to school. We've seen that. We've had evidence of that last year. So I think we have to we might clamour for it not being convenient, and we might be suggesting, oh my God, we need to get out of it. But we are in a different situation now than we were last year with vaccines, potentially closed borders. I mean, we'll talk about quarantine hospitals and all that in a bit. But this constant clamouring, it's just nailing your sort of argument to the mast of kids need to go back doesn't sort of acknowledge the circumstances, does it? I mean, yes, we all agree kids should go back to school. I mean, I don't even understand why people think there are people who don't think that. I mean, we're homeschoolers and we want Kiki to go back to school in September. Everyone agrees that school is important, but if there's a reason for it not to happen, we have to understand that there's a reason for it not to happen. It's not like we're idly kind of just going, oh, let's not send the kids back. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't practical problems for parents, but that's a different argument. And that's the bit that really gets me frustrated, is we should be arguing less about whether they should go back and more about things like, can the government supply the more vulnerable kids and the poorer kids with the kit and the tech and the resources to be able to learn more effectively? Can there be some kind of economic sort of furlough sort of aspect to helping parents who can't go to work? Is there a way that whilst we're not sending kids to school, we can mass vaccinate teachers? Do you know what I mean? There are many other ways, rather than just sort of the Mirror's got this thing going, parents are up in... Well, yes, but, and if I hear once more someone say we've had 3 lockdowns, and it seems to be there's a certain smugness to people who go, yeah, but the numbers have come down. Of course they've come down, Sherlock. Of course they've come down, because we've had a lockdown. Does anyone else agree? It's self-evident truth. And as soon as you lift that lockdown, you have to accept that based on the circumstances, that you re-enter sort of a normality, they'll either go up again or they won't. And I think where we're hedging our bets a bit here and why it feels like it's being pushed further back is because we feel there are many more elements that could make coming out of lockdown more permanent. Vaccine, shielded, hitting the over 80s, 70s, teachers perhaps targeted, all that kind of stuff. And so in a weird way, I'm kind of understanding why there's an element of under-promising and so that they can potentially over-deliver. So they keep pushing back on the things. But I think hysterical headlines in the Mirror just constantly nailing this kind of parents up in arms. Look, all parents are going through hell. All parents. But so too are all people over 80. And people in camps, so too are the NHS, so too are police, so too everyone is. We all are. God, it really frustrates me, sorry. So numbers come down in lockdown, no surprise. Numbers will go up when we come out of lockdown, unless the vaccination program is more sort of, more successful, more comprehensive. And also we do need to look at the data coming out of countries like Israel about the efficacy of the vaccines as they're rolled out. There will be a massive difference between what Pfizer and AstraZeneca say can work and what actually works when it's embedded within a population, for sure. Because you've got all these variants, you've got to factor in all that. You've got some people who don't show for the vaccine. You've got some people within whom the efficacy of the vaccine will be less than in others. This idea that it will be consistently efficient in all people at 30% is nonsense. So, Gemma Johnson, all content on YouTube, sorry, I see your comment about subtitles. All content on YouTube, I think, eventually ends up with subtitles, but it takes a long time for the algorithm to process the subtitles. And because it's such a big show, it's 1.5 hours, isn't it, with lots of text. It will come. It will come. But it's a processing problem. Archie Clark, someone I agree with Archie Clark. People, it does ping up, doesn't it? People need to stop saying vaccine, the go back to school. The whole point is spreading around school, parents catching it. Personally, I don't want to go back anytime soon. I think I've said what I need to say about that. I think Gabrielle's schools shouldn't be open until all teachers are vaccinated. Vaccines equally, vaccine does not... No, absolutely, Daniela Pottinger. Potgeiter, sorry. I recognise that. I'm not even suggesting that the vaccine is this kind of silver bullet that resolves and solves everything. Quite the opposite. But I do think the government is trying to buy time so that when they start to loosen, what this government does not want to do, and what we don't want to do as a population, because we're all struggling with this with lockdown quite a bit, I think, in different ways. You know, even if your business is doing all right in lockdown, or if your work can work from home like us, you know, there are different challenges for different people at different times, and everyone's entitled to the challenges they're experiencing, right? But I think if the government pulls us out of this lockdown and by any chance has to put us back into another lockdown, I think it'll be an absolute disaster. I think it'll be an absolute disaster. I think people just will have had it. So I think they kind of want to get it right. They want to get it right. And I think in a weird way, better to pause and make sure we get it right. Short-term pain for long-term gain. And I think this is one of the first moments where however much we might be feeling, oh, bloody hell, they need to go back, they need to go back. Let's just bear with it. Do you know what I mean? Let's just bear with it. Christine Beck, we do have snow. I was in the park this morning and I nearly broke my neck. A lot of black ice out there. Be careful. I mean, that's the last thing the NHS needs is loads of people falling over and being rushed to hospital. Anastasia Alexander, I think people are so sick of lockdown that they're being willfully ignorant and dishonest. A lot of people have just stopped caring, but to save face, they give weak arguments like cases are down. I agree. I hate to say it, I think that's what Nick Ferrari at the back of his head just wants to get on a plane and go abroad, which I don't blame him for. Everyone wants a holiday. Everyone's entitled to holidays. Everyone should be able to go on holiday. But not at the minute. Not at the minute. They'll never get rid of support bubbles, Samantha. They will never, ever get rid of support bubbles. They've pretty much said that. Samantha Hayward, they just can't. Not now. Samantha Hayward, so I wouldn't worry about that. Oh. Mel W, I don't want a holiday, I just want to go to bed and sleep. Well, there you go. I know what you mean. And I think some days, if you can, do. Sorry, just getting texts and messages. Leggy Blonde Jen, my daughter is year 11, I can't see her going back to school again as she starts college October. So give us a straw poll on what you guys think. She is tralala. Tell us what you think. Katie Wilson, I of course want my children to go back, but not yet. Do you think the school should open before? Do you think school should open this half term? Yes or no? There you go. Does anyone think the school should open this half term? Oh, vast majority of people saying it's not. No, I know it's not going to happen. Okay, that's clear no's. Do you think schools will open before Easter? Yes or no? Before Easter. Do you think schools will open before Easter? No. Wow. Okay. So we are in for a long haul here. And I think rather than reading that, as a lot of Tory backbenchers are, as this is outrageous, there's no exit plan, there's no strategy, I think we should read this more as they're wanting to get it right. I mean, I'm not a fan of Gavin Williamson at all, don't get me wrong, he's made so many mistakes, but just generically, I think they're trying to get this one right. And I think they're being overly cautious, and I think there is an increasing sense, though I don't necessarily know if the science is there, but there's an increasing sense that because some of these variants are skewing younger, that we want to be getting more of the sort of, unfortunately, 70s and 60-year-olds vaccinated too. There's an onus on kind of reaching considerably further down than 80s. And at the current rate, I mean, I think they hit a record number of vaccinations yesterday, didn't they? It was nearly 500,000 in a day. I think most over 50s have been offered a vaccine, their first jab, by the end of May. Is that by the end of May or the end of June? I can't remember. Anyway, so if I was to ask you the general question, should schools go back sooner, or do you think it should be after Easter? Say yes to after Easter. Do you think the schools should go back right after Easter, after April the 4th, around there? Yes. I love it when we do these little binary asks and you'll fly in with your answers. No, reinventing Holly. No, Jill Harbottle. Oh, yes, sooner. Yeah. After Easter if numbers are down. after Easter. So I'm presuming that some of you who are saying no, they shouldn't go after Easter are perhaps suggesting it might need to be longer. Yeah, some of you are saying sooner. Yeah, it's going to be tricky, isn't it? I mean, I know there's the teachers' unions, but it strikes me the teachers' unions can say a lot, but they can't do very much, can they? Tra-la-la, homeschooling going much smoother this time as kids more used to it. That's good. I can't recommend the Oak Academy too much. I mean, it's bite-sized, granular, moving through subject by subject with... Kiki just loves it. It's just brilliant. It's great because what you can do is you can sit yourself in the class. I would advise not just putting a kid in front of the screen and letting them do the lesson. You can sit with your child and you can, like an active classmate, you can talk about stuff. So pause it, talk, clarify, all that kind of stuff. Daniel Potgieter, it is good, isn't it? Oak Academy is brilliant. It really is good. It's a government-backed, national-backed, and you know you're hitting all of the stuff that you need to hit, if you know what I mean. Yes, of course you can get a birthday shout out. Regan Gillies, happy birthday. You turned 24. Happy birthday to you. Why don't I add you to the birthday list for Nadia to do tomorrow? Regan Gillies. But a happy birthday for today. Nanny Di's good. She's good. You know, she pads around the house quite a bit at night. She's quite, in her own little quiet, tiny, microscopic, hobbit-like way, she's quite disruptive. She is. When you're in a house full of insomniacs and then you've got someone wandering around eating full meals at night, it's tricky. But I think she's fine. She's upstairs, by the way. People with and without kids must be having an extraordinarily different lockdown experience, says Anastasia Alexander. My lockdown has been unbelievably quiet and boring. Sometimes I wonder which is worse. Very true. Very true. Very, 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 very true. Sandra Marshall, a happy wedding anniversary. Now, Gordon Brown, our former Prime Minister, has described that the UK runs the risk of becoming a failed state. Trust has broken down in the way that Now, we were talking about this over the weekend. Does anyone agree with his statement that the UK is running the risk of becoming a failed state? What do you think? Yeah, I think they're talking from the perspective of Brexit, Scotland possibly wanting to separate, Northern Ireland wanting potentially a border vote. I do worry. And because then I worry about the iniquities in just England, you know, how it all kind of becomes quite London focused. I think I think there's a sort of puffed up sense of identity amongst the chattering classes. But I think for the rest of the world, we're a bit of a laughing stock. And I know that doesn't matter to a lot of loyalists and nationalists, but I think people look at us and think we've completely lost the plot and we have a really heightened sense of our own importance. And I hate to say it, I think, you know, when you look at the fact that per GDP, we've got one of the highest death rates in coronavirus. I think it might have changed again. You know, I think kind of Gordon. I never had a problem with Gordon Brown. I quite like Gordon Brown as a prime. I think we threw quite an effective prime minister under the bus there. Actually, I found Blair really, really difficult to stomach. Archie Clark, people should have a choice, Mark, to go back. Yeah, I suppose the government would argue you give everyone that choice, you just have bedlam, don't you? You just have bedlam. Yeah, you see, this is the kind of headlines. Parents' fury at school shambles with no return expected until after Easter from the Mirror. Everyone's furious about something, though, aren't they? Everything. Kaz Shaw, the death rate is awful, but that alone does not make us a failed state. Does it show the inadequacy of our health system and our systematic poverty issues? I agree. I think Gordon Brown's talking about the fact. I mean, I think if the union fragments, I think it's going to become a very odd situation. Don't you think? I think we're going to become a very odd country. I mean, just very odd. I mean, the thing I get the idea that there's a strong desire for Scottish independence and an increasing desire for Welsh independence and a Northern Irish sort of exceptionalism, if you like. But then I suppose I start to worry that if the idea behind something like the EU is right, why we talked about it yesterday, why isn't the idea of us all pulling together right? I suppose you could, and all of those regions would say, yeah, right, but we don't pull together. That's the problem. I don't know. Isn't it going to be more like, I don't know. No, not blaming the Scottish at all. I think it's the ineffectiveness. I think we've made ourselves an unattractive bedfellow, haven't we, to the Scottish? An unattractive bedfellow to the Welsh. I think it's very much about the English not bothering and being too London-centric or Southeast-centric. I don't know. There was a moment yesterday where I was looking at all of the headlines coming through, and I could see riots in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. There were all sorts of riots. Curfew protesters, and then in America you got John Campbell saying how worried he is about things going to be. And you sort of think, God almighty, you sort of think, okay, well, there's the disease side of it, the virus side of it, and then there's just the kind of, how are we all going to just get out of this shit? How do we all get out of this shit? And, sometimes I can look at all of the news and I can sort of make sort of meaningful connections, and then other times I look at it all and I just think, bloody hell, what an absolute mess. Anyway, on that cheery note, do you want to see some huge clouds trapped in snowy Grand Canyon in Arizona? I sometimes find that nature and its curiosities can make us escape. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, let's hit play on that. Oh, look. Oh, that's the Grand Canyon. Oh, look at the clouds. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Low-lying clouds. This was my walk through Crystal Palace, by the way, earlier today. It's amazing, isn't it? Look at that. Yeah, Toffee's just on that ridge. Can you see Toffee up there? There's Toffee. See her? Yeah. Oh, Toffee there. Oh. Toffee, just get down off the ridge. Beautiful, isn't it? Wasn't quite as dramatic as that when I was up at the palace, up at the Pal. You remember the Mile Deep Gorge at Crystal Palace Park? Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to find some kind of good news. There isn't any. It's all bloody miserable. Anyway, what about Disney? Let's talk about Disney. Now, Disney Plus is blocking children from watching Peter Pan and Dumbo because of offensive stereotypes. What do we make of this, guys? I think this is a very complicated subject, I think. There is literally no good news, Rachel Louise. There isn't. There's just no good news. So this is distracting, isn't it? So let's talk about Disney Plus. Because I was listening to the debate on the radio on the way back, and I was looking into this story. And if you look at some of the characterizations in some of these films, they are deeply, deeply racist and stereotypical. And I was wondering whether so Disney Plus, let me just tell you the story. Disney Plus are removing Peter Pan, Dumbo, Swiss Family Robinson, and the Aristocats from its children's section due to offensive racial depictions. In Peter Pan, it's the portrayal of Native Americans being called Redskins. In Dumbo, there's a scene with Jim Crow, portrayed in an offensive, negative manner, African American stereotypes. Aristocats features a Siamese cat with offensive stereotypical facial features. And Swiss Family Robinson features racist depictions of pirates. I was wondering if this morning are telling parents they must have a strict routine and uniform for school, homeschooling. Ellie Groves, just forget it. Just forget it. You know what? At the pearly gates of heaven, no one's going to say to you, if you know your stuff for your GCSE, were you wearing a suit? Were you wearing a blazer? Or were you sat in your joggers? That drives me nuts. The set dressing around this stuff is infuriating. You can be disciplined and you can be structured in your learning without signing up to all that absolute nonsense. Sorry, it really makes me cross. So I thought I had a strong opinion of that. I thought, oh God, this is all too much, the whole Disney thing. This is getting. But then I thought no, and then I heard a number of people were phoning in and of Oriental origin saying, look, no, this is bad. I was playing it to my kids the other day, and I didn't like it. But I wonder if there's a solution here. I think Disney should be allowed to put a disclaimer at the front of the films and go, they've got the technology to do anything now, go into the films and change those elements. Why not change those elements? Store for historical purposes, if needed, the original masters. Do you know what I mean? Why not just change the content? I mean, I was really disappointed to see that Spielberg had gone back into E.T. This is a different kind of thing, and he CGI'd E.T.'s eyes so that they blinked, and no one. And the reason no one literally batted an eyelid apart from E.T. Because it just made it better. This would make these better, no? Yeah, they are racist because of when they were made. But if they want to still have watchability, I think they can own their past and change the content. What do you think? Do you think that's, or do you think a disclaimer is enough? The reason they're banning it for under sevens is that they worry that a disclaimer is not understandable to under sevens. And I kind of get them on that. I kind of understand that. Why would you want to hardwire in at any earlier stage? I mean, it's a debate, isn't it? It's a debate to be had. I think changing it is not a bad idea. Just change them and have an acknowledgement at the front saying this copy was changed due to, and then it doubles up as an opportunity for a bit of education, historical education. Do you know what I mean? HW, you shouldn't, what's that? White history, you should leave it. Well, you can still reference it without it. The problem is if there's some part of that history that's still going out and is still ostensibly racist, I think you can shift it tonally, maybe, or just reversion it. I mean, these aren't, these are, okay, they're precious original films, but they're not, it's not like a painting, is it? It's a movie, it's a commercial product. Upgrade it, I don't know. Helen Fatherley. Oh look, Boris Johnson says some lockdown restrictions could be eased by mid-February. That's good. I am of an era of all sorts, but never even realised I am of an era of all sorts and did not grow up racist or having a biased view. I think I just saw it as fiction. Yeah, so that's a curious headline, isn't it, from The Independent? Boris Johnson, sorry, I'm just jumping off that, just said some restrictions could be lifted. I'm just trying to find, can't find it. What does he mean by that? What sort of restrictions? Boris Johnson refuses to give date for schools to reopen despite mounting revolt. Yeah, so, okay, so some lockdowns might be lifted, but we don't know when. Heather Hodgson, you've been a member for... Now, you're absolutely right, Heather Hodgson. The only reason some people will have been missed is if you've joined when we weren't on a live, we won't have seen you've joined, if you see what I mean. We don't see all the names. So Heather Hodgson, I'm going to add you to the list, and we will sing and mangle your name tomorrow. Because I think you want it when Nadia's here. It's far more showbiz, isn't it? So yeah, I'm just trying to find the details on this story. But it's not really a story, is it? He says that we might be releasing some limitations in lockdown, but we don't know what. My God. I mean, is that really a story? Give us the story. Give us the story. Give us the story. So what do you think, guys? Do you think they should retrofit the Disney films? What do you think they should? Give us your answers in the side here. What do you think? Is this a storm in a teacup, or do you think this is a very serious thing that should be done? Sam JP, day 25, boom, well done, well done. You vote disclaimer. Sue Wood, no. Bethan Williams, no. Yes, update them, Ellen. Amber Lou, hi Haley, we do the best by kids, but sometimes it just gets a bit much and can feel isolated, and we'll get there. Hugs to you. Oh, sorry, that's an answer to someone else. Swirly Girly, Claire Yardley, edit those bits out. Amanda Woodman, disclaimer. Depends if Carrie J. Williams, depends if harm human or cartoon. Donna Armishaw, I think the world's gone totally and utterly mad. This is history. Look at it and learn from it. Yeah, I think it's less about that. I think as grown-ups we can. That's why I don't think I think they've banned it for under 7s. I think they don't want. I think they don't want the youngest people to be to have. You know, the equivalent is if you had a book in a school, you would not restock the book if it had stereotypes in it. So, yeah, Nadia did start taking the trees down. It's a big process. The trees are coming down. It's just that one hasn't yet. Silkhan, explain why it is wrong to children teach in a safe environment where they will learn acceptance and understanding. Explain why it is wrong for children to teach in a safe... Sorry, I don't understand that sentence, sorry. Bobby Ward, no, do clarify, Sil, and I don't know if it's a question to me or others. I haven't seen the photos from the Flaming Lips Space Bubble gig in Oklahoma. No, I haven't. Quarantine must be 14 days. What do you think of these quarantine hotels? They don't seem to be able to get them together, do they? Do you think they're going to get the quarantine? See, here's the thing. I just worry they say all these things, time ticks on, and then they just don't get them done. Do you know what I mean? I'm fascinated to know I mean, rather than just saying some things might be eased in mid-February, tell us what? So we can have, I mean, you know, there are a lot of people who've got things they want to look forward to. Emma Staple, your mind's all fuzzled today. I promise you, don't break your neck on the ice, but try and get out and try and feel something different on your skin. It's the most important thing to do. They're worried they don't have enough quarantine rooms. Apparently there were 10,000 arrivals. 10,000 people arrived, didn't they, before the weekend? I think 2,000 a day are arriving at the moment. I mean, it's not a vast number. It's not a vast number. I will, Sam JP, do another sober chat at some point, absolutely. Travel industry against quarantine. Hotels do it, won't happen. Money, 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 Alison. Keir Starmer is isolating. I've got 2 sets of glasses on, absolutely. One is a headband, one is my glasses. Guys, I'm going to head off now. Have a lovely day. It's Monday. There will be a vlog landing later today. And stay safe. Hit the thumbs up if you've enjoyed the natter. If you, I don't do any songs on my own. You probably know that by now. But when Nadia's here, I have a list of birthdays and a couple of names to sing out. Have a lovely day. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Me, Nanny, Di, and Nadia reacted to some really mental kind of trailer last night. Check that out if you haven't. And have a lovely day. And just keep trying to distract yourself. Go out. I mean, I know you're only allowed out, strictly speaking, once. Take your exercise, park it somewhere, lie on the floor, press your head against the floor, listen to music, dance. Physical movement is more often than not the way out of your head. It really is. It sounds so sort of blithely stupid and simple, but it's true. All right, guys, lots of love. Bye.